Hi and welcome to Whiskey Shared. You're watching day 11 of my mystery whiskey advent calendar. I'm Toby and you're watching Whiskey Shared. Welcome to day 11 of my mystery whiskey advent calendar. If you've seen this before and you know it works, then you can just skip straight forward to the tasting. Otherwise, the way this works is I have over 150 samples in my sample collection and my wife has picked 24 at random. She'll put one a day into a blue Glencairn glass and I'll nose it, I'll taste it, I'll tell you if I like it, and I'll have a stab at what I think it is. Should we find out what I'm drinking? On to the whiskey. If you'd like to play along with me and find out what's in my glass when I do, then just keep watching. Otherwise, take a look in the description now for a sneak peek. Let's start with the nose. Okay, so I'm getting lots of sweetness. I'm getting like toffee and fudge and caramel. I love this on a whiskey, it really is nice. I'm getting a little bit of like herbal, like there's like a herbal note. Yeah, I'm not sure what that sort of herbal note is at this stage. Potentially there's some like dark fruits or stone fruits in there. Doesn't seem overly high ABV on the nose. But yeah, beyond that sort of toffee sweetness, it really is difficult to pick much out. Yeah, definitely think there's maybe that herbal note is becoming a bit more sulphury now. Yeah, I think that's what it is. But yeah, really I'm struggling to get more. Let's move on to the palate. Yeah, there's definitely like a sulphur note with this. There's some sort of wine finish. It's a little bit drying, a little bit tannic. It's quite thin on the palate, and I would say it's not very high ABV, maybe 46 at the most. There's a slight medicinal tang in there as well, which isn't very strong, but there's almost slightly iodine sort of note. Yeah, let's have another sip. Yeah, that fruitiness combined with the sulphury iodine note is slightly unusual. I have had it before, but not very often. It's almost like the cask wasn't great, or maybe it was left a bit too long, or possibly not long enough. I don't know, but it's not overly sweet, that wine influence, but I wouldn't say it's unpleasant. It just, I don't know, if I was trying before I was buying, I probably wouldn't buy a bottle of this. It could be that this whiskey just needs time, because I find some sort of wine finished or sherry finished whiskies sometimes do need a bit of time in the glass to open up properly, but this just isn't grabbing my attention enough at this stage. Let's have one final sip. Yeah, I'm not really getting anything else out of this, but those flavours that I'm getting are obviously building more as I'm sipping it more. The slightly sort of medicinal, almost like it's like Germaline / root beer tang in there. It's not unpleasant, but it is just a little bit unusual. The fruitiness, as I said, is ever so slightly bitter and tannic, not overly sweet. ABV wise, yeah, 46 would be my upper limit, but potentially this is even lower than that. My feeling is that this is probably a Scotch whisky, Highland Scotch whisky, but yeah. I'm going to say something like Glenmorangie, because I often don't get Glenmorangie at all, and yeah, I'll give it a shout because it's the sort of distillery that I don't really know its character and I always get it wrong. So yeah, I'll put that out there. But a Highland Scotch whisky if it isn't that, and potentially 10 to 15 years old. Should we find out what's in my glass? Right, so it's a Bergslagens Sherry Darling Ferie Peat. It's 46% ABV, and it was sent to me by Fredrick Hansson. So thanks, Fredrick, for that. Well, what can I say? Obviously, that's where I was getting the iodine type medicinal tang from. It's obviously peated, but it doesn't come across as peated. It just comes across as something that isn't quite right. It could be that I've had the sample too long, the bottle wasn't sealed very well. It could be that that's how it's supposed to be. It could just be a number of things. But yeah, as I said, if I was trying before I was buying, I probably wouldn't buy a bottle of this. I'm sure it's a lovely whiskey. I'm sure there are many reasons why it doesn't suit my palate, but I definitely wouldn't be trying to seek this one out. Obviously, it's a Swedish whiskey and it's obviously sherry finished. I don't know what sherry. If I had to guess, I'd say something like Oloroso. And yeah, 46% ABV. I said it was probably around then. But yeah, it's always great to try whiskies that aren't easily accessible in the UK. And this was sent to me by Fredrick for that very reason. So thanks again, Fredrick. It's one that you probably sent me about 4 years ago. And although I've done a few Bergslagens and enjoyed them, I haven't got around to this one, obviously. And yeah, well, it just isn't for me. But let me know in the comments if you've tried this, and also if you picked out something that was really nice, and maybe something that I'm missing from my nosing and tasting this time round. Yeah, hopefully you found that interesting, and hopefully you'll come back tomorrow for some more. I'll see you then. Sauncha. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.